So I'm joined today by the wonderful Maddie Raymond. Maddie is our Director of Customer Success, and in honor of Valentine's Day, I love Maddie for her wonderful sense of spirit and how passionate she is about helping customers have a great experience.
Wow, that's hard to follow, Rach. Rachel and I have known each other for such a long time, and she's one of my favorite people that I admire, especially as our Director of Product and just a personal friend of mine. So I cannot be more excited to be hosting this webinar with one of my favorite women of all time.
Oh, thank you.
All right.
So you might have noticed it's Valentine's Day. Love is the theme, and we really wanted to bring this theme through this entire experience. So we love your audience, and we want to make sure that your experience that you're having building your audience is something you'd love too. So we're really excited to share with you today.
Absolutely. And we also love questions. So I know we're going to be talking a lot today, but please use that Q&A button or chat us. We're going to try to run through any of the questions you guys might have live. We also will have a few minutes at the end of the webinar, and anything we don't answer, we will make sure that we follow up with you guys directly after. Okay. And the next question would be, before the agenda, when we're recording this, are we going to get this out to everybody?
Absolutely. Yeah. So if you're here today, of course, you're going to get an email. If you registered, you got an email. And then additionally, we hope to put this up on our social videos as well. So you'll have lots of access. If you hear something that's going to be really interesting to someone else on your team that wasn't able to make it today, you'll have an opportunity to see it. So what are we going to do today? Well, first, we're going to talk about the real problems that you guys were facing with audience management. It's a really, really important part of the communicator's job. And so there were a lot of issues that are really common in audience management. So that's what Maddie's team was telling my team about all the things you were trying to do. Then we're actually going to show you how we solved all of those problems with real features that are inside the broadcast platform today, and a little sneak peek into something that's coming soon. And the whole time, of course, we want your questions, like Maddie said, keep them coming in the chat. And additionally, if something pops up, if we're not able to answer your question live, we'll make sure that we get you an answer after the webinar.
Right. So I know we've talked a lot about audience management, and we've recently released some amazing new pieces of functionality. So in terms of what our customers had been talking about, we on the CS side, or customer success, working with every single one of the Cerkl Broadcast clients, we've heard every single one of these statements a million times. It is no secret that every one of our customers says, we're going to be really hard to deal with because our audience, our employee set is so complicated. And I'm like, the big secret here is that it's not a secret. Everyone feels that same way.
Yeah.
So it's hard to get integrated with any other systems. They always say our data is incredibly messy. We have so many systems. On average, we're seeing upwards of 3. We even have some clients that have over 30. So it's not you, it's everybody.
It just is.
Yeah. So the other thing that we're hearing from our customers is that custom fields, everyone knows that marketing trick of the F name where it changes, you get sent an email and it says Rachel, and then I get sent one, it says Matt. So then, what happens if there's other data that you want to be sending and customizing? And then of course you have the ability, to really think through, I want to see my audience data, right? You can't do that when you work at a big company where all of the data is behind all of these third-party systems, maybe Workday or UKG, and your HR team runs those, right? You guys don't have admin access for a specific reason, but what about the data that you need to know you have access to and are using as a communicator? So all of these things are the problems we've heard with customers, and I've been very vocal with Rachel as our Director of Product to make sure that we are tackling these problems for you guys. So,
it's fine to say we solved it and webinar over, but we're never going to do you that way. That's not the way we do it here at Cerkl. So we're actually going to show you live.
We are excited to talk to you guys about the new way to add audiences, to do manual imports, because, there are scenarios where you need to grab a list from an event registration or a custom pool, and you can't always rely on the data syncs. So manual imports. We have this cool new functionality, audience import utility. We're going to help make sure that your data makes sense and then that the data works for you guys. So let's jump in.
Let's do it.
All right.
I love show and tell.
Let's hop on in.
All right, so we're going to hop out of the deck and we're going to go right into the platform. So Maddie, happy to have you as my Vanna White today as I walk everybody through some of the new stuff that we have. The first thing that I want to show you is our new audience import utility. This is housed in settings and integrations and plugins. If you scroll down to the audience import utility, you will see it there. Let's stop here. Okay, so our problem was I got data in a bunch of systems, 3 to 30.
Too many systems.
Too many systems. Yes, that's life. Companies are complicated. But what you're looking at here is we know that one of these systems is the source of truth. It has the most in sync. It's the most up to date. It has the best data. That little trophy there, that's our number one system. We're saying this is the primary file. Start here, and things that disagree with this probably aren't as accurate because it's not as up to date. But you can add as many of these as you want. And we're going to create a new file map. So these are file maps here. We're going to create a new file map live with you guys right now.
Okay.
So here we can upload a file. Now, if you scroll down just a little bit, we have file format help. You can download this document. You can look at it yourself. You can share it with teams, but it gives you some best practices, explains what the attributes are, and then gives you some layouts. So Maddie's already set up with the file, so she's going to go ahead and browse this file. Now, where did you get this file? In our example here, we got it from Workday. Okay, so the Workday admin might export a file for you to use as an example. That's all you're doing here. You're giving us an example of how your data is structured within a given system. And we're going to use that as kind of a code or a key to tell us how we should treat files from that system going forward. Okay, so Maddie, go ahead and browse that one in the audience attributes. Yes, that's the one.
Okay.
We're going to play a matching game.
Okay.
Do you like matching games?
I do actually really bad.
Are you really? What a twist. Okay. So it is always required that we have email, first name, and unique ID. Those are easy factors that tell us who somebody is.
So a unique ID, I've heard from a lot of customers, can be different things. Like some customers would use their employee ID if it is unique. Some would use GUIDs, if you've heard of those before. Any ID that is unique to the individual employee and doesn't change is the important thing here.
Absolutely. What you call it, honestly, makes no difference. And if it's called something different in a different system, that's totally fine. What we're looking for is just whatever ID you're using within your systems that kind of brings people together. So employee ID is a common use of that. But I do want to call this out because on the left here from that spreadsheet that she just uploaded or the CSV she just uploaded, that's what you guys are calling your data on your side. But on the right side, you're dragging broadcast attribute fields to match and making sure that they match. So let's go to last name.
Okay. So I can either search here, right?
Yep, you can search,
Just
drag that bad boy in there.
Okay.
Yep, and you just keep going. Now this DOB, date of birth, we call it birthday. Cool, that's totally fine. Now, in a lot of systems, this is where it stopped, but I'm going to show you something in a minute that allows you to turn birthday into date of birth, so your system stay consistent throughout.
So we can use our own words, our own vernacular.
Absolutely, because it matters so much.
Yes.
Because like all that context switching and explanation is really taxing on the communicators, and we completely understand that. So we want to make sure that you have access to all of it. So let's go ahead and keep mapping those fields.
Hire date, we have job type. Where did that go? There we go. We have down a little bit and look for marital status.
Now, let's say that you got that marital status. Do you want to use it in your comms? It was included in the file. If you don't need it, you don't have to map it. Okay. So that's one of the flexibilities. Your file doesn't have to be in perfect shape to exactly what you want. If you tell us to ignore that file, that field going forward, that's what we're going to do.
And the most important piece is we never reach into your system.
No.
So we don't reach into Workday, UKG, any of your systems of record. So your HR team and your security team can rest easy. Right. You choose what you're sending to us.
Absolutely.
So a lot of customers, they choose not to send over salary, for example. We'll include it here today, but you guys pick and choose.
Exactly.
Right. I'm going to keep adding these here.
Okay.
And as we're doing this, I'm curious, Rachel, besides like hearing about all the hardships that audience management comes with our customers, what really prompted us to think about this in a new way?
Yeah, so hearing so much about the way that the communicators are really asked to go kind of on a wild goose chase to understand their data, to then have to map it back to broadcast fields, to have all the pieces in place in order to be successful. As a former communicator myself, I felt like, golly, that would just take forever and it would really delay them being able to actually use the product, right? And I hated that for them because I know that that work isn't comfortable work. It's not work that they feel good doing. And they might meet a lot of challenges along the way. So in a lot of systems that I've worked in, like this kind of mapping is super duper helpful. And I thought that this would kind of speak to the way that communicators think about my data to your data and allow them to have a visualization of how it would actually work.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what's important here is that a lot of this stuff might look like, oh, well, I don't know what data we do have.
Mm-hmm.
The best part of that about that is our team on the CS side, once you are ready to begin implementation, we walk you through this entire thing. We use that example spreadsheet that we pulled up earlier, and we assist you during that process. So we make it as easy as possible and make sure you have the right people in the room to get you the information that is required.
Exactly.
Okay, so I'm adding a couple more of these.
Right.
Clearly, I am bad at multitasking, talking, and putting this in here at the same time.
But yet you got it done here in just a few minutes. Okay, so we hit continue, and then what we're doing here is we're validating your file. We're saying in your system, is your data in a good shape to come into our system? We're just looking at the first 25 or so rows of your data. And here we are. Let's pause here. Okay. Your attributes are what you called it in your systems in your sheet.
Date of birth, DOB, first date of birth.
Exactly. Broadcast attributes are what we call them. The data type is the kind of structure that the data has. And then we give you an example. So we got Lavina Wick, and Lavina Wick was the first employee. This is her email address, her first name, her last name. This is kind of your check to say, does this all make sense? I did my map. And is that actually her hire date? Is that a reasonable hire date for her, giving her date of birth, giving her remote status? So this is just one little extra check. But while you're here, here's a little pro tip for our broadcast customers out there. Click that download copy there. So this is your cheat sheet. This is what your maps were. This is what you chose. So when you're going in maybe later to rename your attributes to match your business needs, or maybe someone on the outside of the comms team just wants to understand how you're using it, you'll have this. Yeah. Save it locally, very useful.
Your technical teams will definitely want a copy of this. Your implementation team on the CS side or on the Cerkl side will also make sure we save this off for you guys so we can reference it later. So we don't forget, right? All right.
So let's submit it.
Okay.
And there we go. We're done.
Easy.
Now, of course, we're showing you an example here, but I want to kind of walk you through what I think this part is rad. And if we had stopped here, like I'd be very pleased with where we landed. But another problem that Maddie's team was telling me a lot about is that it's kind of quiet. You don't really understand if your integrations are working, what system is failing, what's happening. Sometimes you don't understand that, you can't see it. And so we created the report log to really explain so you could follow the trail of your data and actually solve the real data problems. So I'm going to show you a data story here. It started on the 12th. On the 12th, I mapped my Ethos Inc. Workday file.
Just like we did.
Just like we did.
Okay.
But I hadn't sent it yet.
Okay.
I just mapped it. I was getting myself set up. So here, our report is saying we skipped you because your data wasn't there. So the file was missing and it wasn't validated because it wasn't there. The next day, when I sent it, the files were there, but there were validation errors. Oh no, right?
Which is super common.
Oh my gosh, so common. So there were validation errors. So I download this report and I take a peek at it. And guess what I learned? Some of my emails had invalid formats. This is a really common error that lots of systems have. You have a space where it doesn't belong, or the @ sign was a hash, or you have 2 periods before .com. There's some sort of formatting issue. Now, before, you could be chasing these suckers down for months, right? Trying to figure it out. But here it is. Bold as can be, simple, easy to send to whatever admin of whatever system you're talking about here. So here I can send this to my Workday person and say, did you know that unique ID 385 has an invalid birth date format?
So this employee, with this employee here, GUID has an invalid format, and your HR team is going to freak out over this because right now, they don't, all they know is that their data is dirty.
Right.
And there are lots of hiccups in terms of sometimes duplicate records. They don't know if they're, transitioning from a contractor to a full-time employee.
Yep.
The HR person didn't, search appropriately for that existing record from their contractor state.
Yep.
We hear this all the time and we feel your pain. So this is going to not only save our team time in helping you all, this is a really powerful tool to be able to send to your HR team and say, hey, by the way, these things we need to update them. So it's really, really important to be able to have visibility into these things.
I totally agree. And it's really specific. And then let's go down to this Monday, the 16th.
Okay.
Okay. So of course, that's a wonderful idea that sometimes that you have errors in the system, but there are other kinds of errors that you have that do not preclude your audience from coming in. And this was a key innovation in the system.
Mm-hmm.
So because we have that file as the source of truth, then that set the first set of audience. And we said anything that disagrees with file 1 and file 2, you don't need to fail these people. You just need to send me a conflict so I know where these two systems disagree. So let's go ahead and download that file.
Okay. Yeah. So this didn't cause an entire failure.
Nope.
The thing still happened.
Absolutely. So this data was processed,
Okay.
everything's in. But what happened was that these 3 email addresses were already associated with a different ID. Once again, a super duper common error that people run into, right? People are transitioning from contract or they're repurposing email addresses. There's lots of
rehire date.
Rehire date.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So this stuff happens to people a lot. So here we're able to say, these email addresses were already tied. This is a simple fix within the data system, right? Oh, well, I just need to go in and find 211 and turn it into number 11. So that's key because it's going to continue to go through. Everything's working as intended. You can still communicate with those people. We do not stop you, but their data could be clear. So this is like crazy, right? It's a fire alarm. It's a black light for the cleanliness of your data. We're saying like you could definitely go through and really get your data in a wonderful place that it's never been before.
So this is awesome, but this is in-app. I love the history. I love seeing what are the conflicts. You can download the reports. It's insane to me. Again, I can't express how much time it's going to save a lot of our customers, but how else are we notifying them of these successes or failures or skips? Because that's important too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So you get an email every day that tells you exactly did it process, did it fail, what's happening. And if you go into settings, you can see that by default, all administrators are getting those email notifications, but you can add additional team members to get those notifications too. So if you, while you're getting this all set up, maybe you do have a Workday UKG admin that needs to know what's going on. They can be getting these notifications too. Get in here and see what's going on.
Perfect.
Yeah. And you can set your process and find exactly what you want. I think we have some questions in the chat, and if it's specific about this feature.
Absolutely. All right. Can you, let's see. So some of these questions specifically, I think, are regarding access to account settings. So if you don't see the gear icon, that means your permissions within Cerkl Broadcast don't allow for you to access this.
That's correct.
So reaching out to one of the admins on your account, they'll be able to update those permissions in the team members tab. All right. Oh, someone did point out that the chat is disabled. That is correct. Again, a little rusty at this whole webinar thing. So the chat is disabled, but using the Q&A section is where you can submit your questions. Apologies for that little hiccup. Let's see. All right. I think those are some of the quick questions that we had.
Okay, great.
All right. So let's jump back in. Keep them coming. We love to see your questions, and we will make sure, again, we follow up with you after the webinar.
So yes, so this is kind of the way that you should be thinking about broadly bringing in your audience. But like Maddie said, like no matter how integrated you are, you're still going to have one-off times that you're going to use manual imports. In fact, I think every single account in Cerkl Broadcast uses manual imports. So what we're going to do is we're going to switch over to My Essentials org. Maddie, what do you think about that?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
All right. So this is a different account. I'm going to go over to Ethos Essentials.
And we're going to go to Audience.
Okay.
And we're going to go to Import List.
All righty.
So we have redone manual imports to be a lot more communicative with people, and we've added a bunch of different fields. If you'll scroll down a little bit, you can see all the new accepted fields. Now, before it was email, first name, last name, very simple, right? Now for our internal comms use case, we're giving you the opportunity to add some data here that you may not have in other systems, or maybe you're adding people one-off, things like that. That need to come in really quickly. So you can add birth date, hire date, phone number, job title, job level. You can see them all listed here. And then these are my new favorite things, custom fields. Can you scroll down?
Yes.
So custom fields are 5 fields that you can use to add some random piece of data to someone or some people. I should be more specific here, to a set of your audience or all of your audience. So let's say it's not coming through via integration, or maybe it's a short-term use. You just need it for an initiative or a set of comms. You can add some temporary custom data. So that's how we do it. So let's go ahead and get an audience. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
All right, so let's browse. Yep. And we're going to be the manual import.
Open that bad boy.
All right, so here we're validating your file just like we did on the other side. We're just taking a look at it, make sure the structure looks good. And look at this. Now, what's important here, of course, is that your headers are in perfect shape. They say exactly what we want them to say, and that's in the prior example. So that's really important that you do that. But here's what we're giving you here. You said attribute first name. There's me. I'm Rachel. And there's my last name. And you can see my collaborator, Maria's the other record there. So those are the first two records in that file. We're going to show you examples of what's going on with them. So you can kind of check and make sure.
And see if there's any, columns are in the wrong order, or if you accidentally have a record with, just F instead of Foles.
Yeah.
So being able to see that, just a quick snapshot.
Yes.
Did you grab the right file from your desktop? Because I did that earlier when we were practicing the wrong one. So it's a quick and easy way.
Absolutely. So we can go ahead and continue here. Yes, and that's okay, because we know what's in those custom fields, but that warning is for you guys, right? So that's letting you know that there's already some data in a custom field. You have control of that if you have settings permission and attributes to declare on a custom field prior to using it. We're going to go ahead and continue here. All right, let's stop here for a second. So this is new.
Yes.
Right. Before, we were filling in blanks in a way of saying it, but here we're giving you two options. You can merge the data, which is like fill in the blanks. If we didn't have my last name and we gave it to you in this file, I would now be Rachel Foles.
Yes.
But we also give you the option to overwrite data. So there are some times where you have people that are operating outside of your integration. This happens commonly in our accounts where they're saying, we wanted to add people outside of our integrations and we want to keep that data up to date. Here's a place to do it. You can overwrite the data and then we will replace that data with the new data. As you can see by our message here, it is a higher risk item. So that's why we're communicating to. Let's look at the example that we give you. So here we're looking at Susie, right? In the existing data, she's Susie Smith and she has no job title. So she is a woman of many talents. And in our imported data, she's Susan Smith and she's an account executive. If I merge, then she'll still be Susie Smith, but then she'll be an account executive because job title was empty before.
Got it.
But if I overwrite, she becomes Susan and an account executive. So it kind of gives you a visualization of what you will do with those options.
Yeah, and I love this because, being able to see an actual example, someone who is very visual, seeing overwrite or merge, I'm like, brain just stops. So seeing this as an example, super helpful.
Awesome.
Smart. I think it's a point for creating this mode.
I think that's going to be a Samuel Huber joint.
Of course it is, Sammy. All right, so let's continue.
Absolutely.
We want to overwrite or merge?
We're going to merge. It's the safest one.
We're just going to merge this bad boy.
Your computer decided it's
pixelating a little bit. Yes.
Do you want to refresh?
Yeah, there we go.
There she is.
All right.
All right. So this is your last check. We're telling you where it's going. If you scroll down a little bit, we still need you to tell us that it's okay.
Yep.
To use this list and submit. All right. Let's pause here for a second because this is relatively new, actually. And this is a good pro tip for all of you broadcast users out there that are using this every day. We're looking for files every 5 minutes. So you might catch it at the beginning of 5 minutes, you might catch it at the end, but this import status, you can refresh the data and see where it is using that button there. Oh, we already got it.
Super fast. We can hit it right at
Perfect.
25.
We sure did. And you can also see it in the queue here. So if you come back to import history, you can see it in the queue here. So this lets you know where your file is and what files are updated. This is really valuable if you're trying to troubleshoot something that's gone on with your audience. If you're trying to figure out who uploaded what list, here it is. And we tell you what's going on.
And then you can access that file again, correct?
I don't recall, actually, Maddie. It's been a few months since I've done this. And
but we can see by who,
yes.
Import size, the segments.
Yes. So as you can see, it was imported by Maddie, and there were 26 people.
Yep.
All right. So Maddie, let's go into attributes. So that's going to be in settings.
Okay. We're going to go ahead and we're not going to import this one because we've already done this. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and go.
We did already import. You just have an option here to exit or import a new list.
Good point.
So we're going to go to settings.
All right, your account settings up here in the gear icon, and you must have permissions to access the account settings.
Yes, and then attributes.
Okay.
All right, so welcome to attributes. For those of you who spent some time in settings, you might have stumbled upon this in looking at other things that you're more familiar with. And if you haven't had a chance to get in this section, I think it's really, really valuable. Audience attributes is your opportunity to take the data attributes that you're getting from Cerkl or getting into Broadcast and instead tell us exactly what you want them to be throughout your experience. So in my example here, we have location 1.
Yes.
You know, to us, I know that we would say that should be the biggest, right?
Country, region.
Right.
So a lot of our customers will have like EMEA or APJ,
Yep.
all of those things. Or even, you know, I guess there's nothing much larger than that, but
Right.
you know, being able to look at the data you have available today. And the most important thing is your comms team doesn't know it as location 1.
No.
So all of you existing customers out there who have been using dynamic segments, this is the #1 request that we've had is, hey, you know, how can we change location 1 to be actually our verbiage? So I don't have to tell every one of our communicators, our team members in Cerkl Broadcast, hey, you know how we usually call this region?
Yep.
You guys start using location 1.
I mean, and anytime that we see you guys putting together duct tape and dreams to try to make something happen, that's how we know that this is an opportunity for us. So we were seeing a lot of spreadsheets that were saying location 1 equals country. But in our case, we're going to use location 1 for employees location for our personalization field.
Okay.
And then we have job title, reporting manager. This is the data that we brought in, but now we have those 2 customs.
Beautiful.
Right. Okay. Hit that info I right there. So I imported these customs. And so I think that our first custom, if you wouldn't mind looking at our spreadsheet again, I brought them in with a specific idea that one of them is going to be reporting manager and one of them is going to be years of service. I believe custom 1 is reporting manager, but let's take a look at that file.
Okay. So that's not the ASOS global. We're looking at the manual.
All right, so custom 1 is reporting manager and custom 2 is going to be years of service.
Okay.
And I'm going to show you how we're going to use that. So go ahead and rename those.
All right. So this was reporting manager.
Yep.
And this was years of service.
Right. Now, go ahead and save that.
Okay.
There's a couple of other things I want to call out on this page. So let's hit that info I again in those customs. So if you want to use custom fields, but you're going to re-upload them, you can hit right here to clear all that data. Don't do that because I'm about to use them as personalization field. But once you're done with a custom field and you know you're going to want to have that slot in the future to use it for another communication, you can clear them out. Absolutely. And then the checkbox, Maddie's an admin in this account. So administrators have the right to turn on any of the fields that you have data for as a personalization field. So you guys have the control as admins to decide what can and cannot be used as a personalization field.
Right. Like I wouldn't want probably salary, right?
Right.
Be a personalization field. That's just data that I need to be able to create dynamic segments on whatever.
Yes.
Or marital status.
Right.
You're not going to send a communication to someone about their marital status. I hope you Valentine's Day.
Right. Congratulations on your divorce and happy Valentine's Day. But realistically, we just want to give you the option on the ground to control. Now, you might notice a little checkbox. There's a little checkbox that says audience table.
Yes.
Okay,
That's new.
That is new and it's in beta because that's going to be something to show you in the future, but you can go and uncheck that. That's a future setting that you're going to have an opportunity to choose which of these attributes are on your audience table.
I love sneak peeks.
I know it's going to be the sneakiest of peeks. All right, let's save it and get on out of here.
Before we do that,
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to call out the 93% data availability, 87. What is that?
Okay, I thought this was your favorite thing in the world.
Yes.
Okay.
It is. That's why I'm asking.
Okay.
Data availability.
And I couldn't catch it, you guys. So data availability is a measure of how many people within your audience, your subscribers, have data for a given field. So in the attribute location 1, 93% of your audience have location 1 as an available attribute. And 87% of your audience have custom 1 filled in. Right, absolutely. And if you scroll down just a little bit, you can see in these system attributes, which you don't have the same level of control over when it comes to turning them off for audience table in the future, they have 100% data availability. Those are ones that we are making for you. So you don't have the same permissions to them, but yeah, that data availability is a key indicator of whether or not something is valuable to you as a personalization field. And we're going to give you that information on the other side too.
Yeah, and it's important to know if you were to upload a file that had, a custom value and only, 30% of your employees had that custom value filled out.
Right.
And you intended for everybody to, or more than that, then that's a red flag for you immediately.
Absolutely.
All
All
right.
right, so let's save and get on out of here. And we're just going to take a brief sojourn to blast controls.
Okay, so we're gonna save here. We're gonna go into blast. We're gonna go into controls.
Right. So with the new personalization fields, you can see here in your blast controls whether or not they're enabled. Anybody who can see blast controls can see whether or not they're enabled. They just don't have the right to turn them on and off.
Okay.
And then you can set fallback displays. So fallback displays, if in the event of employees location there, I only have 93% data availability. That means that 7% of my audience doesn't have this field.
Okay.
And if I choose to communicate with everybody, I know that 7% are not going to receive anything. So I want to set a fallback to say something about their location, right? So your location, let's make it that.
All right. And then update
And save it. So it's a good best practice, I think, as you're turning on personalization fields to just go ahead and run through these and do your best to set a fallback. It's definitely going to be superior to showing them kind of a data view. So, all right, let's get on out of here.
All right. So I already hit save up here.
Yep, and let's go to blast.
Okay, let's go to your recent. I think you have one queued up for us.
I do. Happy anniversary from me.
So go ahead and edit this one.
Yep. All right. So I wanted to give you an example of something you would actually do with a custom field, right? So as you see the star and then the pipe, that's an indication of a personalization field. So let's go ahead and delete reporting manager there.
Okay.
And whoop,
That was an accident.
it was.
Let's see.
Is it a option Z? How do you do it? And
On a Mac keyboard? That's a really good question.
you know what? Why don't we just exit on out of here without saving? Yeah, we'll just get back in.
You're so smart. Okay, so I'm gonna exit, don't save. All right.
It's a good reminder, we're live.
Yes.
All right, let's try it one more time. So we're just gonna get rid of reporting manager. All right,
The old-fashioned way.
click in there. Yeah, click up there for me.
Okay,
And we're gonna look for reporting manager.
so there's that new one.
Mhm. And you know what? And I'll show you again when you do the next one. And just do years of service.
Okay. Go ahead and delete that one.
Now, I did set this up as a draft, right? So I set this up prior to this, but as you're creating them, it's going to be a lot more like what Maddie's doing here. You click the personalization fields icon.
And we used to have, or we used to have the personalization field icon, but it only allowed you to choose first name, last name, full name, or email.
Right.
So now you have a lot more options.
A lot more options. That's right.
And this was years of service.
Absolutely. All right, that looks good. And did we update any other name like employees location?
First name, employee's location. I don't believe so. I think I kept that one. Employee's location.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep that. And then let's go on to our sending info into the subject line. And I want you to call out here that, hey, you can use the personalization fields in the subject line as well. Just for safety, let's go ahead and get the years of service in there through the personalization icon click.
Okay. And then, so we said years of service, insert.
Would you mind sending yourself a sample?
Absolutely. Then we have to pull up my inbox.
It's going to be crazy in there. You go.
Yes, it is. I tried to clear it out. I already have 9 emails since we started, so I will get to those later. All right, so here's my sample.
All right. So thank you so much for your work as Director of Customer Success. We know the folks in Cincinnati are grateful to you. As Director of Customer Success, your contributions are important to the company. Your manager, Tarek, wanted to say thank you for your 7 years of service. Maddie, keep up the good work in Cincinnati.
Thank you.
Now, see, that is a true message. That's something that you
That Tarek sent me.
Absolutely. I'm sure Tarek would say even nicer things about you, honestly.
You better.
But that's a real thing that communicators can do right now in the broadcast system, is just with 4 or 5 pieces of data, make something that actually makes an impact on people.
Yeah,
So,
and imagine if you were able to do this with your quarterly bonus or things of that nature, where it's not data points that, those data points change all the time.
yeah,
And you have to manually send those things out today, upload a custom, and you can clear it out. So it's not there for next quarter. This is huge. It's really big.
yeah, I agree. So let's check in with the Q&A if you don't mind, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're doing great on time.
Good. We're at pretty big talkers. All right, let's see. We have a few of them here. Command Z. Thank you, Michael. All right. See if I have a few. Actually, we have the team in here.
Thank goodness.
Thank you, Jessica, Nico, the Cerkl team for jumping into some of these. This is great.
Fantastic. All right. I think you want to show a sneak peek. I love sneak peeks. Okay, let's show a little sneak peek.
This one's really cool.
I know. It's just so neat. So listen, right now in our audience experience,
Let's
it's
show
working.
them, what does it look like today?
Yeah, let's do
right?
that. Let's start there.
Do I want to exit? Yes.
So
Okay.
here is the audience table experience as we have it right now. You've got a name, you got an email, you get segments, date, subscribe, privacy.
Pretty basic,
Right. You can filter on a lot more stuff.
but it doesn't have any of those custom, data points or the location, the country, the things that like
Reporting manager.
I need as a communicator, one, to validate that the data is correct.
Right.
Two, to make sure that, I can build dynamic segments off of those data fields.
Right. Or to understand just generally the scope of what a given audience could be.
Or just for your sanity.
Right.
All of those
Do I have all the things? Am I even right?
Right.
Right. So this is what we have now. You can filter, you can export, you can sort. But we thought with you having so much more data power, with you bringing in so much more data with all the ways that you can integrate with us, how much our communicators love dynamic segments and personalization fields, we really want to expand the opportunities and audience. And so something our team is working on right now is a new audience table experience.
Right.
So let's take a really quick look at what we're doing here. And like I said, this is something the team is working on now. It is not ready for production. And trust that Maddie and her team will have the most excellent communication and training for those of you who are with us already when this does roll out in the coming months. So even just starting here, you already get a lot more. You get a lot more space. The first thing to notice is that you get a little bit more room on segments. Let's do a sort.
Okay.
So let's sort by date subscribed. It's going to be a lot like a spreadsheet. You click up and you click down.
Easy.
Easy peasy. You can do personalized privacy. We can see who is an admin and who isn't. That's all really simple. But here's where things get interesting. Let's go to edit too. And let's do new column.
So down here at the bottom.
Yep. Now, all of those attributes that we have.
That we just uploaded.
Yep, that we will have synced.
Mm-hmm.
We can now see them here. I can add the job title. I can add, so let's go ahead and add job title. And what else we want to add? I've got some interesting, fun ones. Favorite color.
Yes.
Pet preference. Those are custom fields that I brought in.
Dominant hand.
Yes.
I love the idea of like a new employee having to fill out like which hand is dominant.
Maybe they're very personal and they want to get them the right mouse for the
That's
job.
fair. That actually might be a valid question to ask an employee.
So let's do dominant hand and then vacation preference. And then let's do some more functional ones.
Here it is. Let me type that.
Yeah, you can search. And then let's do birth date as well. Now, you might notice some of these.
Emoji.
I know, yeah, super fun. So you might notice that some of these, if you would do new column again, you might notice that some of these have an icon next to them that is the crown. That is the key to you. You are an administrator within this account. You can add anything you want to your table. But for users, team members, they cannot add those fields. Those have not been enabled in settings for team members to use, but admins can use any of these fields anytime.
So marital status or salary.
Yes, absolutely. If they're sending that and they want to use it, they can turn that on and off here. So
Yes.
let's go ahead and are there any other ones that you're curious about?
Oh gosh, too many. Let's not do that
You
one.
want to do time zone?
Did I do pet preference?
I don't think so.
Okay,
because it's
that one's
unselected. All right,
fun.
let's move some of those columns around.
All right, because I don't care.
Do you care about privacy?
I mean, I do care about privacy, but not as the first thing in this table now.
Okay, and you can remove any of those that you want to by clicking the X. So let's say date subscribed is probably pretty important, but job title is important too.
Yeah.
So move those around however you want them. You're just doing that by dragging.
I want
You want to do birthday?
Yeah.
So you're thinking about doing some birthday messages, some
Correct.
February birthdays.
favorite color. I want pet preference to probably go above birthday. All
You're thinking
right.
about getting them a puppy?
Yes.
Okay, let's hit update.
I really am. We'll see. We will see.
All right, now, here we are. Now we can see those fields that we turned on. You should, if you scroll down quite a bit.
Yeah.
I want to show you all the way down to the very, very bottom of the page.
Okay.
I want to show you a key component here. So before you could lose the thread. I don't know which of this data belongs to Marcus because I couldn't see Marcus as I was going through the table.
Right.
Now we've got a scroll that allows you to see Marcus stays there, but his data stays.
It's like a sticky or frozen header.
Yep.
Oh, that's my favorite.
That's a sticky column.
And this is the first time I'm really seeing some of this too, you guys. So I'm excited.
Yeah. So you can turn on any of those that you have enabled as a teammate. And then as an admin, you can turn any of them on. You can put them in whatever order makes sense for you. And when you come back, Maddie, if you made this your table view, if this is about the common task that you do, this table view will follow you. So when you come back in, you don't have to set it up every time. You only need to set it up when your job that you're trying to achieve changes. So if today it's all about birthdays, that's totally fine. But in another day, if every day you're really focused on job title, then this view will stay for you. You will be able to create filters and we'll just show the filter what your options are. So a lot more options here. I know our communicators love filters. I see your stats. I see what you're doing. But you're able to create filters here and you can go ahead and apply that.
Okay. I was scared.
Like I said, we're working on it right now. And here we are. We have all of our dog people. What's up, dog people?
Killian, I see a couple of, circlers from our test data. We're going to get you a dog, Killian. Congratulations.
I did randomly generate this. I cannot say for sure if Mr. Hale is a dog person. And then we're not going to do it here, but we can also export on this table. And we are going to maintain exactly what you have here. So you set this table up, you put your columns just like you want them, and then we will export it just like you laid it out.
I love it.
Yeah.
This is super, super helpful.
Okay.
And when you export, again, you're exporting this table, but if I didn't have access, I'm not an administrator, I don't have access to, birth dates and things of that nature. I won't even be able to gather that information or data.
You cannot see it.
Okay.
And you cannot export it. The only thing that you can export is what you're allowed to see.
Okay.
And what you have on here. Yeah. We want to make sure that your data stays as private as you need to. You have all the control that you need to dole out the right level of permissions.
I love that.
All right. Any questions about this table before we head back to the deck?
Let's jump in. Our team has done a really good job.
That's wonderful.
You guys left us with nothing to answer.
That's okay. We'll go back to the deck. Let's check in and see where we landed with all of the new stuff.
Yes. So we're going to talk about what were the problems before and what is the magical solutions we've come up with. So again, we've heard it's hard to get my audience integrated. So what have we done about that?
So we have the new audience import utility, or we have expanded, or you can choose to do a manual import with a much, much larger data set than you were ever able to do before.
Love it. Next one, we before had been hearing, we have messy data. Again, it's the not so secret. Every single customer says, we are really complicated. I'm like, honestly, you all are. So let's like take away that stigma and just figure it out. Let's solve the problem. So what have we done about that?
Yeah, so audience import utility is really key here. You can add as many systems as you need to. We're going to give you a report of showing the conflicts, but even though if you have conflicts, once we get the set, you're good to go. The conflicts are not going to stop you from communicating. The conflicts are not going to reduce your audience. It's really about getting your data in a good, stable place.
Yeah, which is super important because as a comms member, you can't wait on the data that is causing an issue or hiccups. You still need to send that memo from your CEO because it's really important that you're about to get acquired.
Yes,
right?
It's got to go.
Correct.
We get you.
All right. So we also heard I want to use custom fields for some quick comms.
Yes. So of course you can do it. Audience import utility. We didn't even talk about metadata fields, of which you could have as many as you ever would want of metadata fields. You're not just limited to what we have.
Correct.
And those are things that you're going to send on an ongoing basis. But you can create a manual list or segment, including up to 5 custom fields, clear them, reuse them, restack them, love them. We love them.
I can't wait to see that into some people's hands. We've had a lot of customers been asking about this. I'm curious, is there like an example from the product side that you've heard or seen someone really like whip through it?
Oh my gosh, yes. I love seeing people use it. I love looking at how they're using it. It's so very, very interesting to me. But I think the creativity that people demonstrate when they have the agency to create the comms that they want to, right? There's nothing in our system holding these people back from doing exactly what they want to do. So really, I don't think I've even probably seen the most interesting implementation yet. I think it might happen after this webinar. Lots to come.
It better happen after this webinar. We're excited. Okay, so we talked quite a bit about personalization fields. So adding those within your blast, the subject line, things of that nature. Anything else you want to highlight here?
No, just any attribute that you have data for, and we're going to tell you how many of your people have data for it. And if you were to try to send it and you had less than 100% data availability, we're going to stop you and we're going to tell you, hey, you're missing this data for this percentage of people. And here's a list of the people who are actually missing the data. So we've got you all the way through. You do not have to be scared to use them. We're going to communicate with you. We have good context in place and we have good safety nets for people using it.
And then even if you were to upload a custom list with, let's say, your favorite ice cream for the Cincinnati for employees in the location of Cincinnati, right? Because you're about to have an ice cream party. That can still happen, right? I can upload like a portion of my entire audience set.
Yes, make a segment, Cincinnati ice cream party, fill it in, clear it out when you're done.
Graders, I want some graders.
Be in a coffee forever.
All right, so we also heard I can't see all my audience data. As a comms person, I just know I am to send this memo to this specific group. And then a lot of customers before they came to Cerkl were just required to go to their IT team or their tech team and say, hey, can I get this list? And then it takes 3 days for that, distribution list or that export to be provided to them. So now what have we done?
Yeah, there's absolutely no reason that should be the way that a comms person should have to live. That's spending a lot of bandwidth on things that are not about what you love to do, is communicate and tell great stories, right? So if you got your data coming to us, you're building dynamic segments, you see what the content of that segment is. Now you can take it one step further, and in your audience table, you can actually see, sort, filter, export, understand what makes up Cincinnati ice cream segment. Who has data for that? Does everyone who has location Cincinnati have ice cream data? What am I missing? So you have a lot of opportunity here beyond just the abstract of kind of understanding the size of an audience. Now we've taken you one step closer. You can actually see and touch and feel your data.
Yeah, you feel empowered now to do the things that you typically have to jump through hoops to do.
And this part I'm really excited about, because when people are able to see things in a table, which should be a really familiar format to them, using a lot of Excel, I'm sure you guys have to use a fair amount of Excel. You might be able to see some relationships that looking at it in the abstract you weren't able to see before, which is really exciting.
Right.
I can't wait to see.
Dominant hand with favorite ice cream or pet.
Absolutely.
You guys
are just the oyster.
Right, because you're so creative. You are the communicators, and being able to see that. I love that idea of just putting the ability for you guys to jump in there and see the data and use it in creative ways, because now you don't know what's in there. You don't know how much is in there.
Yep.
So giving you all the tools to really bring that to fruition. So that was quick. Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm really excited to see how we've taken these years of feedback. I mean, we rolled out dynamic segments and the ability to add, attributes, 3 years now?
3 or 4 years ago.
3 years now. And it's been exciting to see how all of our newer customers, even some of our legacy customers, have been able to use the attributes to create these dynamic segments based on all that information. But taking the feedback from the past 3 years and hearing things like, well, we don't call it location 1, and all of our current customers, you guys have had that exact conversation with someone on my team probably 3 times. So taking that feedback and turning it into something that really allows you and empowers you to do your job. I love making things better for you guys, and pushing Rachel to see how powerful the things that she and her team are building, how it empowers you all. So I love it. I just went on a rant, but I felt inspired. All right.
Are there any questions in the Q&A that we need to answer?
Let's take a peek. All right, administrator.
Anything that the group would benefit from?
I don't think so. At this point, it looks like almost everything has been answered, which is fantastic. But again, We have recorded this webinar. It's going to be a fun one to watch back. I'm already thinking about some of the goofy things that I said, but we will make sure we get this out to you guys in a follow-up email. And of course, if you have any questions, if you're a current client, please feel free to reach out to your dedicated customer success team. We're always here for you in any way, shape, or form. Send us a message in the chat support in the bottom right-hand corner of every Cerkl.com page. Our support and education team is fantastic. We have a response rate of less than 3 minutes.
Yep.
And if we need to pull in your dedicated success manager, or you want to start working on implementing these new features, we'll make sure that we pull in your implementation team so we can assist you with that. You're not left on your own. A lot of these things you can do on your own, but when it comes to any of the more technical things, we are always here for you. So please do not hesitate. We will be here for you as much as you guys need. And we're excited to kind of see you start working through all these new features and functionality.
Does your spacebar not work that way to go to the last slide? There it is.
Yes.
I just wanted to use my transition.
Oh, that was so good. I didn't even know. Can I do that again?
You want to do it one more time?
Yeah.
Okay. There it is.
Oh, it's so cute.
There you go. Happy Valentine's Day. Thank you for spending your time with us today. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.